Hello guys, this is Akshay JH, and in previous part we created the sign up method for our blog app. But in this part what we're going to do, we're going to create a login method. And if you guys already know the login method, you still need to watch this tutorial because there is something more in this tutorial that we are going to cover. Not actually the Google and Facebook login, but we will be doing that in the later parts. So first of all, what I want you guys to do is sign out from your account. And next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to delete the users that we have stored inside the database. I'm going to hit the delete key, and let's just leave a single user inside our uh, auth library here. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my Android Studio and I'm going to create a new activity. So this activity is going to be a blank activity, and I'm going to empty activity, name it login activity, hit enter, let it create. Then inside the login activity I'm gonna insert two fields. One is going to be the email and a password. Then I want a button for my login here, so I'm going to add a button as well. So for this I'm going to change the ID to login email field, and for this one I'm going to change to login password field. All right, so the next step is also the ID for this one. This is going to be the login button, and I'm going to add hint for these guys over here. So this is going to be email, and this is going to be password. Where is it? Is it even selected? Yeah, password. And lastly, text for this one. The text is going to be login. Now the next thing that I want to do is actually make them match parent with, because we're going to be working with the design implementation later, so we're not going to worry about much about the design. So what I'm going to do, you guys can obviously create one more button that says need a new account, and this should redirect to the create account page. Now I know you guys can do this by yourself, so I'm going to leave it to you guys. I'm going to go to my login activity.java file. So I'm going to say private edit text m login email field. Now this is also something you guys can do by yourself, so if you want to skip this step, you're welcome. All right, so m login password field, edit text, find view by ID, login password field. All right, m login email field, login email field. All right, and lastly m login button. This is bnt. I'm going to change it to btn. This is going to be a button, and find view by ID r.id dot login button. All right, so everything is done. Then I'm going to create a set on click listener for our button. So once a user clicks, we want to fire up a function called a method called login check. Then I'm going to quickly create it, create method. All right, so inside this method we're going to check if user has logged in correctly. So I'm going to create a string of email. So we're going to retrieve email from the login email field dot get text to string trim. All right, same thing for the password. So m login password field dot get text to string trim. All right, so we got email and password. Then we're going to check if any of the field is empty. So is empty email and not text utils dot is empty password. All right, so once user has filled everything, then we're going to start our login process. So till now everything was same. Now this is going to be a little bit different, not the login process, but after that. So I'm going to say we need to create an auth, Firebase auth, obviously, to access the login. Private, yeah, Firebase auth m auth. Then we can set it over here. So m auth equals Firebase auth dot get instance. All right, then we can come down here, mauth.sign in with email and password, and I'm gonna hit this create a semicolon at the end, and then inside that we need to put in our email and the password that we have just retrieved over here. Then after that I'm going to add an onComplete listener, new onComplete listener. All right, and inside that the task returns us these results. So if task dot is successful, do something else, just for now add a toast, but we can implement the UI later. So error login toast dot length long. All right, so this was pretty simple and we guys have already done it in previous parts, but what we are going to cover extra is something here. So I'm going to create one more method inside the task.isSuccessful, and this method is going to be check user exist. All right, now this is going to sound a little bit tricky, but I'm going to explain it to you guys. So this is actually going to check the user if they exist or not, but as you guys may already know, if you create a user, they will already be existing over here. So what actually we are focusing right now is it will check if the user exists in the database or not. Now many of you guys may already be thinking that if we are creating an account, we are obviously adding it to the database, but actually that's not the truth. The truth is, if you are signing with Google or Facebook, the user won't be existing over here by the start. So what you actually need to do, if you are signing it with Facebook or Google, you need to actually check if the user exists in database or not. And if it doesn't exist, you need to actually start up a new activity. There it says enter your full name and add a profile picture or something. Then if the user types in, when the user types in everything, fills the form, hit the submit button, then the account is created and the data is stored inside this. So if this sounds a little bit tricky to you guys, don't worry about that. We will be covering it in detail in the parts then by the time that we are creating the Facebook and Google login. But for right now, we need to just check if the user exists or not. So for that, you need to set up the database reference. So m database, and after that m database equals Firebase database dot get instance get reference. This is our root. Then inside that child users. So we're gonna check inside the users object. So inside the users object, what we actually want to check is string user ID, and this is going to be mauth.getCurrentUser.getUID. Now this should only run if the user has logged in, or else your app will crash. So then I'm gonna say mdatabase dot add value event listener. So we're going to use add value event listener to check if the user exists in the database or not. Inside this, I'm going to say new value event listener, and there it returns on data change, on data cancel. So on data change, this actually runs real time. So what you can actually do is this returns us the result. So what I'm going to do, if data snapshot dot has child, now the child is going to be our user ID obviously. So this is going to check if it has the user ID, then do something else, show us some error. Just for now we're gonna change it to setting up your full account or something. You need to set up your account. All right, and if everything works fine, we're gonna start up a new intent. So I'm going to go to my main activity. Here, if you remember, we created an intent, login intent, but we actually put the register activity over here. So I'm going to change it to login instead of register, because we want to redirect the user to the login activity if they haven't signed up. Now I'm going to copy this and paste it inside the login activity. All right, hit OK. So this is the context is going to be login activity, and we actually want the user to redirect to main activity. So instead of saying login activity, I'm going to say main intent. Sorry. All right, pretty clear. I'm going to run the app, and this is going to perform a full build. Yep, but I have one announcement to make, and this is really good. Now check it out. Okay, I forgot one thing, that you need to change the rules. Also change it to auth not equal to null, so the user who haven't signed up or signed in won't be able to access the database. Now the announcement is we have launched our website and we are online, so you guys can go to tvac.in, go ahead and check out the tutorial section articles. Some cool articles and tips and tutorials are coming soon, and I'll be adding that as soon as I'll get time. And one more thing is that in the next few parts, you can see that I have provided a link for 60 app design pages. You can go ahead and check it out. These are some really cool designs. You can use it to implement to your app. You can see that there are social designs here. Here they are: the chat page, post page, many more stuff. Then I have multimedia and blog. You can check e-commerce and many more things. There are 60 plus pages. If you are going willing to buy this is just $28. But if you don't want to buy this, don't worry about that, guys, because I'm going to be providing these all the pages for free. Just keep watching the tutorial. In maybe next 1 or 2 parts, I'll be announcing the update of these pages. I'll be providing it for free, obviously. So you guys can go ahead and check out the website. I'll be posting the tutorials and articles really soon, and also free premium templates. So back to our app. So here is our email activity. I'm going to say XGH, the account that I have created. Then I'm going to type in the password and hit the login button. Now I haven't created any progress bar yet. Oops, it has actually logged in. So let me just check what we have done wrong. So okay, if it has child, then intent, if that's actually what we wanted. But let me just refresh that we are not missing anything. I'm gonna hit log out, so we are on the login page, and let me just quickly type in. Okay, so I guess we just needed once to run the app. So it's now saying that you need to set up account, because the user doesn't even exist over here. But if you run the app again, you'll surely be on the main activity, because the user is actually logged in. So we have a fix for that, and I'll be adding it to in the next part, because we need to add some offline functionalities for our this method. So once it checks, it should the user won't be able to access the main activity. So that's it for this part. Make sure that you subscribe the channel, like the video. It won't cost you anything. So in next part, we will be seeing how you can then enhance this login feature, and we will add the Google sign in and setup account page really soon. So see you guys in next part.